Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. My name is Cyndy. Thank you very, very much for being here. This is a bonus reading for Thursday, October the 3rd. There was a channeled message reading released this morning, like normal. Excuse me. Um, and that was a channeled message with regards to the energies for the month of October. And one of the things that was said was that October was going to be full of surprises. There was not just going to be an October surprise, there was going to be multiples of them. And no sooner had I finished recording that video and turned back in, sorry, I'm dropping currents, turned back into what was going on in the world, that I found out that that a redacted brief had been released by Judge Chutkin. So fascinating. Now, these are the two cards that fell out. Just so you know, for your own interest, um, the Tower and the Wheel of Fortune. So that sort of sets it up, right? I had said for a long time that all of these delays were ultimately going to end up biting him in the butt. And I didn't know how, and I wasn't, I didn't get any more than that. Just that I knew that at some point they were going to regret this process of delay, delay, delay. And what has happened now is this information has been released, but it's not on trial yet. This is just a very, very detailed brief of what why he thinks that there's charges and why he thinks that this thing should go to trial. So the defense has no defense. It's not like they can call witnesses up and they can cross-examine them. This is just simply a filing. And so what has happened, obviously, is that all this information is out there, and the only real thing that, Trump and the campaign and can say is, oh, this is election interference, oh, this, oh, that, the whole world's out to get me, it's a witch hunt, the normal crap. So let's take a peek, shall we? And just see how the release of this is going to impact Donald Trump and the campaign. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah. Pull this back. Some space. Brief impact Trump campaign. Brief impact Trump and campaign. Brief impact Trump and campaign. Here we go. I kid you not. Following it. Okay. So what has happened is that this filing and the release of it and all of the conversation about it and all the talking about it and all the discussing, what that has done is that truly has created a very significant tower for the campaign. And notice I didn't say tower moment, because it doesn't feel like it's a moment. It feels like a slow collapse. They just showed me a picture. So, like when demolition crews come in and they put like explosives in strategic places in a building, and then somebody pushes the button and the whole thing just sort of falls in on itself, and then there's this big plume of dust. So what they're saying is that's what it's done, but imagine it in very slow motion. Okay, so at least when a building goes up, it's like fast, right? This is not. This is just going to be something that has legs. Okay, so there's going to be a continual amount of talk about it in a way that Trump is not going to be able to distract from. So listen, be prepared because the nonsense that's going to be coming out of Trump and the Republicans is going to be, you know, pedal to the metal, nonstop nonsense. Because everybody now knows that he has basically been dealt kind of a death blow for his presidency, for the campaign. So what this has done is, I mean, hello, hi Karma, come on in. What this has done is basically said, okay, well, that was the game you played for 3 years. And this is now the result of it. This is the consequence. You wanted to delay. You did. Great job. But eventually delays stop. And now we have the Ten of Swords sitting here and he's sort of just like gasping. All right. Now, followed by the 5 and the 7 of Swords. Okay. So again, he thought that he could just take what he wanted. He could bully the legal system. He could, you know, demand this and demand that. He wanted to take away the rights of the voters, right? I mean, that's the bottom line. He wanted to um, remove full knowledge so that, let's face it, like you and I, and we're all paying a great deal of attention to what's going on politically in the United States and some around the world. Most people aren't. I mean, they're just not. And so for a lot of people, this is like, oh, wait a minute. I remember hearing about that. Wasn't there something like there was all this noise about that like a little while ago? There was like a committee and they were releasing all this information. It brings it all right back in front of everyone's faces. So people who have not been paying attention, and that's okay, right? I mean, people have lives. People who have not been paying attention, people who, have a life, right? They are going, wait a minute, what was that again? Excuse me? So really, really important the sort of timing of this. Hold on one second. Okay, so that's where the delays got them. And this is now the culmination of that. It's done two things. One, it's going to, first of all, it's going to have some people looking at this information. I'm talking voters looking at this information and going, wait a minute. This is not good. Okay. Like he can be bombastic and he can be this and he can be that. We can even find him funny, but this is not good. All right. When a sitting president is told that his vice president has been rushed into a secure location because the mob is threatening to hang him. And the president's response is, so what? This is somebody who really, really doesn't need to be in the Oval Office. In fact, he shouldn't even be on White House grounds. Okay. So what this is doing is it's creating the ability for people to look at things differently, maybe people who haven't been paying really, really close attention. It is also and they keep giving me this phrase, it's put a hitch in his giddy up. Right? Because now the campaign, they were already having trouble trying to figure out how to push back against Kamala. He still hadn't come up with a good strategy. Um, Tim Walz did an amazing job with the debate, and the general consensus is that Vance just ended up looking like smarmy and icky. And most importantly, I think, really proved that he has the ability to just weave lies in a way, the way that he then presents them, like, you really have to pay attention and not sort of get sucked into it, right? Um, well, of course, there was a peaceful transfer of power on January 20th. Well, duh. That doesn't mitigate or lessen January 6th. But, that's kind of the way that it's being presented. So they can't figure out what to do with Kamala. Things with Walz did not go well. And now they have 165 pages of information about what actually went on. And I will confess, I have not yet had a chance to read that brief, but I intend to. So I think it's going to be well worth however long it takes me to read 165 pages of stuff. Because I think that and again, mainstream media, they pick out a couple of things that are sort of the most scandalous or the most jaw-dropping. But the rest of the stuff kind of, really doesn't get paid attention to. And I think that there's going to be a lot of information in there about the fake electors and how that came together and what was going on there. And, comments that were made to, friends and family, whatever, that in no way, shape, or form fall under the purview of this nonsense of presidential immunity. So again, what does this do? Listen, it's just going to bring this whole thing to a close. All right. They're not going to be able to recover from this. And the judgments, they're going to be harsh. The judgments are going to be really mostly about it. What it's going to do, the emperor, what it's going to do is it's going to really, really clarify for people that this is somebody who wants to be an emperor. He wants to be a dictator. He wants to be king, and not a benevolent king. Um, and And that's going to create a pause in people who have maybe been kind of, well, I don't love Kamala, or she's black and she's a woman, although I wouldn't say that out loud because then I would be a misogynistic racist. But, so I guess I'm going to have to vote for Trump. No, those people are going to go, wait a minute, truly, this is a bridge too far. This is beyond the pale, whatever, phrase you want to use. It's not going to Um, it's not going to be something that the campaign can combat, and it's not, frankly, going to be something that they're going to actually be able to recover from. What do we have here? Ooh, we have 4 swords. Okay, so where are we at? Right, we're at a place where um, they can do all the reevaluating they want. They can yell and scream about election interference. They can do all of that, but the cat's out of the bag. And that information is going to be circling. And what is this, like 33, 32 something days away from the election? There is not enough time to really turn this around. And remember, if you didn't see the video that was released earlier today called, October Energies, I encourage you and invite you to go take a peek at that, because we were sort of warned that, listen, October is going to be beyond crazy. And it's important that everybody kind of make sure that they keep their head in the right space and their thoughts in the right space. But the point is, they said, there's going to be more than one October surprise, and the energy for the month is going to be really nutty. So even with other distractions, even with other surprises, This one is going to carry weight. So that's where we are. They're not going to be able to come up with another strategy. They're not going to be able to, work really hard and change the momentum. It's just not going to work for them. So this is a campaign, right? They're blindfolded and they're trapped, and they've done it to themselves. Trump's legal team has put Trump and frankly the campaign in this position. And they're not going to, Knight of Cups, they're not going to be able to pretty this up um, and and spin it, pivot, so that somehow we are distracted by something else, or he just goes on and makes this thing about, a witch hunt, and how he's being unfairly prosecuted. And there we have Jack Smith, King of Swords, right? So what you have is the law, the legal system, which Trump worked very, very hard to play, right? To manipulate to his own benefit. Well, good job. I'm sore. But you can't help but kind of say to yourself, well, listen, this is a guy who has like failed at everything he's ever done, right? I mean, like Mr. Bankruptcy, hello. Um, you know, three marriages, and apparently the third one is not in good shape, obviously not marriage material. Doesn't have a great relationship with his children by and large because, yeah, he failed at being a good daddy. Was a disaster as a president, a disaster as a businessman. In some ways, it stands to reason that he also would be a disaster as a defendant. Okay. So, don't forget to put your questions into the comment section for today's video. On today's video for tomorrow's Pendulum Friday. Beth is going to be doing the questions today. Beth, this is just a note to her. Beth, please check this video for questions because it's being released later than a video normally would. So please make sure you take a peek at this and include the questions from this video. All right, everybody, go off and have yourself a good day. If you have the interest and the ability, I would maybe do a quick scan of those 165 pages. I'm sure it'll be easy to find on, YouTube or the internet. And whatever you do, make sure you keep your thoughts bright and positive and filled with joy. All right. Take good care. I'll see you soon. Be well. Bye for now.